It was always the plan from the great legal experts of this country and even the world, but from the great legal experts to everybody, Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. They wanted to get abortion out of the federal government. Everybody wanted that. That was uniform. Then about 10 years ago, people lost their way. They started talking about, how many months? What do you think? What do you do? What do you do? What kind? Where does it take place? And they forgot the original aim was to take abortion out of the federal government and move it into the individual states and let the people decide.
Yes, let the people decide, not the person decide. Let the people more broadly decide. And by people, we mean politicians, and usually male and white and rich, and let them all decide. So that's Donald Trump rewriting history when it comes to reproductive rights in this country, again, which are wildly popular, and Roe v. Wade is wildly popular. And Yasmin, what's so fascinating about how he rewrites the history is he says it was always the goal. Republicans and Democrats wanted to get this out of federal hands. When? Where? How? Who? And then it just became more of a, he's like, then it changed and it became different laws and different. The reason that all happened is because Republicans attempted to chip away at federal law that had already been in place, which was giving people the broad right to an abortion up until and around like the second trimester, right? And then of course it went to the states, but the states started chipping away at that right individually. That's when he says it all got lost. That's effectively what happened. And to remind everyone, Republicans and Democrats and the Republican and Democratic voters have always been on board with protecting Roe v. Wade. Here is a poll. Majorities across parties say women and doctors should make decisions about abortions rather than lawmakers. And women of reproductive age agree. So this is 80% believe that. And this is, again, spanning Republican and Democrat. This is a recent poll. Total adults by party ID. 94% of Democrats agree with this, 81% of independents, 62% of Republicans. And then with women, look at the difference between Republicans. You've got 70% of Republican women saying they do believe that they or their healthcare provider should be making that decision instead of 29% who said that lawmakers should be doing this.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. Listen, in order for the Damage Report to keep on going, we need viewers like you to become a member on YouTube. Can you click the join button on YouTube today? Thank you.
We know this is not popular. We know that Republicans around the country are scurrying from policies that they themselves had aimed to obliterate, which is Roe v. Wade. And then here's Donald Trump trying to completely rewrite exactly how we got to the place. He's trying to gaslight you. Hey, we've always wanted to do this. We've always wanted to do this. And by the way, the biggest gaslighting of all, and this is the last thing I'll say on this, is that Roe v. Wade had anything to do with like the fetus or the months or this. No, Roe v. Wade had to do with privacy. This was a privacy-based law that the government doesn't have the right to tell me that I need to or should be forced to bear a child. But your thoughts?
Yeah, so this whole argument that it's a states' rights versus federal rights issue, it sounds very reminiscent of other things that I don't think I need to bring up, but it's also evasive, right? He's trying to say that the Republicans who, as you said, systematically chipped away at abortive rights in this country. And this has been going on for decades, right? This isn't a recent issue. Ever since Roe v. Wade, they've been working very, very deliberately and systematically to get rid of women's rights in this arena. And it is terrifying. I live in Texas, I'm of birthing age, and it is really scary. But if Trump wants to get into the discussion about federal versus states' rights and let the people decide, again, as he said, not the person, but the people, then maybe we need to have a conversation about how representative is our government actually, right? Mm-hmm. If so many people in the United States support abortive rights for women, then why don't we have it? Right? Even people in red states like Texas, where I live, there is overwhelming support for some kind of protections for these pregnant women. And, that's a whole other conversation that I'm sure Trump does not want to have.
No, and I mean, look, if there are debates between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, which My God.
I don't even want to
feel
watch
like
that. Oh God.
I'm like part of me is like, I would literally do anything with my, Tuesday night. But Biden should be asking him about this issue. And of course, as you mentioned, that recent Time magazine interview where Trump was like, yeah, we could track pregnancies. It's okay for states like Texas to track the pregnancies of women in their state. I mean, this is just authoritarianism for one gender and freedom for the rest.
Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.